we are joined by EWTN contributor Jeff Bruno. Jeff has been taking beautiful still photography along several pilgrimage routes, which have been featured in our sister publications, the National Catholic Register and Catholic News Agency. We thought we'd invite him on today, not only to introduce him to you, but to also show how he is capturing the spirit of the National Eucharistic Pilgrimage. Jeff, welcome. Thank you for your beautiful work these past few weeks. I know you're home now, but I understand you were in America's heartland, Nebraska, earlier this week on the Sarah route. So how many days have you spent following the various pilgrimage routes? And tell us about this week's experience at the Nebraska Land Days Field Mass.
Well, I guess I was there from the start. I guess around May 19th I began. So I don't know how many days, but it seems like every day almost, except there was a short break because my daughter got married in between. So I was home for that. But Nebraska is an incredible place. It really is the heartland of America. And there's a lot that we can learn from there, just in terms of their spirituality and their faith, how rooted they are. And the field mass, they have this thing called the Nebraska Field Mass, and it's a relatively new event, I guess you could say, or mass. They celebrate it out really in the middle of nowhere. It's to commemorate, there was an ambush there of a missionary priest and some troops back in 1740, and they do that to mark this. And it shows, the Nebraskans kind of connecting back to their history, to their historical roots and whatnot. So it's really was a very, very, it revealed a lot about the character of the Nebraskan people and the Nebraska Catholic Church, I think.
Absolutely. And you set out, I understand, to capture a photo of a procession going through a field in Nebraska. Tell us, how did that story unfold?
Well, so I've never been to Nebraska before, but, from conversations I've had and whatnot, I understood that, it's very largely agricultural. And, I was hoping for something, some context, the Blessed Sacrament, Jesus being carried through a field, something that was kind of iconic, or, an image that really reflects Nebraska. So I had gone there with that kind of stuck in my head. And day after day, as I was there, it became more and more apparent that that was just not going to happen. Most of the churches are not located in the middle of fields. They're located in towns. So the processions that occurred within the town, the confines of the town. It wasn't up until the very end, it was the last day I was going to be there, that they had a problem with one of the routes. They was going to do a handoff from the Diocese of Grand Island to the Diocese of Lincoln, Nebraska. And they changed the route. And I remember I was driving in this little convoy because it was closed to the public because it's a very rough area. They thought it would be unsafe for pilgrims, I shouldn't say for pilgrims, but for the public, for general procession to go through. It would have been very challenging, especially for people who have difficulty walking. So as we're nearing this place, I see we switched from paved roads to dirt roads. And then before I know it, I see this little rickety one-lane bridge, and then I see nothing but fields. And it was absolutely breathtaking to behold. It was a real gift, I thought, and at the same time, I think God had it kind of planned that way, because I think I would have missed the bigger picture of who the Catholic, community is in Nebraska had I was kind of set on that. But then what happened in the meantime, while I was waiting for that shot to happen, which I didn't think would ever happen, I discovered the beauty, the simplicity, the piety, the purity, and the virtue of that Catholic community. And it is absolutely amazing. Maybe it's because they're so connected to nature, because they grow things and they're connected to the Creator through that. I don't know. Well, I just know that America as a Catholic community, as a church, could learn a lot from Nebraska.
Well, and those photos are an answered prayer of yours, and Jesus answered it in an unpredictable way, as he often does. Jeff, you and I were both on the East Seton route earlier this month when pilgrims visited the National Shrine of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton in Emmitsburg, Maryland. My videographer even caught you in action. Jeff, tell us, how do you approach your work on this pilgrimage, and how do you balance being a journalist on a job, but you're also a devout Catholic adoring our Lord in the Eucharist? How do you think about that?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's not that I go out as a photojournalist or a reporter or anything like that. I go out there as a Catholic trying to evangelize. I want to be able to present the beauty and the mission of the church to the world. And in this is a very unusual context, because we spend, if you follow this, if you're working with it, walking with the processions and everything, 4, 6, 8, 10 hours a day, you're in the presence of Christ. And that has a profound impact. So there's this, it's kind of like if the disciples were walking to Jerusalem, to Galilee, or to someplace like that, one of them was a photographer and trying to take pictures all the time. So it's like we're walking with Christ, and at the same time, trying to, present him to the world in the Blessed Sacrament and the true presence at the same time. It's hard to describe. I mean, that's the best I could do, I think. So, but it's amazing. It's absolutely
Absolutely. Well, and I think the disposition that you have that comes through in your photography. Jeff, finally, last question here, 1 minute left. Having visited the pilgrimage, is there one moment so far that stands out to you the most? Has there been a favorite event or a moment with especially stunning imagery?
It's funny. I would love to say yes to that, but actually was, I think, something more profound than that. But it was kind of, it's through the photography that it kind of was revealed. And I go back to the point where when you spend this much time in the presence of Christ, there's an impact. It's like, and I mean, I notice it, personally. I know that the pilgrims that I've spoken to and walked beside have noticed it personally. Father Landry has said some incredible things about it. He's a priest that's processing the entire Seton route. He said that it was a real adjustment for him to have Jesus 2 inches from his face, through like hours and hours of processing and walking. I could just say this is that, we're all in a state of convert, or we're all, growing in faith. It's never a static moment. And this experience of being in the presence of Christ and doing this work has just had the most profound effect on me. And I hope and I pray that it's having the same effect on the country and on all the people that participate, and that we really do have a return to Christ and a appreciation for his presence, the gift of his presence in the Blessed Sacrament to all of us. So.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Jeff, we are grateful for your work and for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Take care. God bless.
You as well. The National Eucharistic Congress is just weeks away. To be a part of it all, register at EWTN.com/Eucharist, and you can receive a discounted pass. And if you cannot be there in person, EWTN will be providing coverage Wednesday through Sunday, July 17th through the 21st. I will be co-hosting along with Father Aquinas Gilbo, University Chaplain at the Catholic University of America, and Pete Burak, Vice President of Renewal Ministries. In-depth reporters Mark Irons and Roselle Regis will be there too to capture special event moments and the participant faith journeys.